welcome to Walker's Realtor Retreat. I'm your host, your friend, and hopefully someday your realtor, Canyon Walker. Today, my guest is Steve Nardin. He's my go-to guy for anything to do with mortgages. Steve, how about you introduce yourself?
Oh, thanks, Canyon. Appreciate the opportunity. I'm Steve Nardin with Union Home Mortgage, and we're a direct lender, and my office is located in East Lansing.
So how much experience do you have? I mean, I think you've been doing it for a while now, haven't you? So how much experience do you actually have?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for roughly about maybe 19 years. So I graduated from Grand Valley and then went into marketing and then had an opportunity. One of my friends was a mortgage lender and just really seemed to enjoy it. And so I took a crack at it and have loved it ever since.
Yes, Steve's my go-to guy for mortgages. Any questions I have or any people I have, I just send right to Steve because he knows everything there is to know. But let's just say I am a new home buyer. What would be the first step to getting a mortgage? Well, let's just go back. What is a mortgage in general? What's a mortgage?
Great question. So a mortgage is a fancy word for a loan that's actually taken out and with a lien on a house. So it's just a fancy word for a house loan, but then it does impose a lien on the property.
Nice. So let's say I'm a new buyer. What would be my first step to getting a fancy loan?
Sure. So as a Union Home Mortgage, our company, as a direct lender, we have a lot of first-time homebuyer programs. So the main thing the first thing that I have when I have the initial conversation with somebody that's thinking about buying a house is, okay, so it's not as important to know how much you're pre-approved for. So the part of the pre-approval is what I do is I'll give a couple different things. I'll let somebody know how much they're pre-approved for up to, right? But more importantly, I'll ask where they want the mortgage payment to be under, and that's the most important part. So it doesn't matter how much somebody's pre-approved for up to, but how much house they should be looking for, what purchase price range, that you'd be showing them houses based on where they want that payment to be. So I found the most important part. So very few times is somebody going to be wanting to get pre-approved for more than they are, but oftentimes, and it's again very important to know where you want that mortgage payment to be and then how much house that equates to. So that way they're looking at houses they know are going to fit within their budget, and you being the expert on the real estate side will be able to make sure you're only feeding them and making good use of their time and yours houses that fit within that, so there's no surprises.
So before, let's say I call you up, hey Steve, what are some documents I might need to get this whole thing started? What do I need to send you to know what I can be approved for? That type of thing.
Great question. So first, we're going to ask you to take a blood test. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So what I do is I'll send an email after I have the initial conversation. I'll go ahead and they'll ask what the next step is. And then I'll send an email, which will have our online application link. And, I just tell people, fill in whatever you can. They'll get the basics. And then if I'm missing anything, I can, fill that information in over the phone. It just comes to me. And then the other, the document list would be W-2s for the past 2 years, most recent 30 days of pay stubs, and which during this whole COVID thing is kind of tricky, and just bank statements showing where the money is going to come for the down payment.
Nice. Now, this is something I'd like to ask everyone who comes on here. Like, what is your favorite part about your job? I know with me personally, with being a real estate agent, I love to just interact with people. I love to. I mean, unfortunately now, like you said, the whole COVID thing is kind of putting a damper on everyone's mood. But
Yep.
That's why I love it. I love talking to people. What's some of the things that you love best?
Ditto. I'll go ahead and just say ditto. No, that's why it's so tough. As you can probably see from the background, I'm working from my loft. We've not been able to go into the office with this COVID thing here in the last probably 3.5 weeks. Yeah, that is exactly it for me too. That is the fuel to my fire. That's the sunlight to my plant. So is being able to interact with people, creating those in-person relationships. And most of my customers are also friends of mine. So it's it's that part of it. And that's why it's kind of tough, with this COVID thing, being that you and I do it for the right reasons, but we're making do. We're still getting it all done, but I do miss that. I do miss that problem solving and serving people in a personal interaction way.
Yeah. Sorry, I got off course of the whole mortgage thing, but I like to talk to my people on who I have on here, what makes them love their job. So that's just one question I like to throw in the middle of everything, just to kind of get everything going.
It's a perfect question. You want to know what I like to do on my first date?
We'll say that for different Zoom.
Perfect.
What are some of the most common types of mortgages you can get? Just some of the common ones that you see more often than any other ones.
So as a direct lender, we offer, what a direct lender means, by the way, is we're not a middle person. So we don't have to go through, so there are brokers, a lot of mortgage companies are brokers. So they have to actually go through a wholesale bank and then it's sold at the closing. So as a direct lender, so by contrast, we hold the mortgages, we underwrite them ourselves, and we don't have any additional overlays or fees. Overlays are additional restrictions on top of just the normal Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guidelines. So the different types of mortgages, so it just depends on the situation. So usually for a first-time home buyer, a really beneficial program for them on the mortgage side is what's called a MSHDA loan. So MSHDA loan is Michigan Housing Authority, and what they offer is a down payment assistance program. So when you buy a house, there's three things that you're going to be responsible for as a new home buyer: the down payment and the closing costs, which again but you're looking at title fees, things like that, appraisal fees, underwriting fees, and then your escrow account. So escrow account is where they actually set up. They put money aside to pay your taxes and insurance for you. So every time you make a mortgage payment, part of that is going to be contributing to your account to make sure your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes are paid. So what MSHDA down payment assistance program offers is they're going to pick up all of your down payment, your closing costs, and your escrow account, everything except you need to bring just 1% of that to the closing. So what that means is if you're buying a $150,000 house as an example, then that would mean that your minimum requirement is going to be $1,500 as a new home buyer, and everything else is going to be picked up for you through the down payment assistance. So, and then other types of mortgages, just as a broad brush stroke, would be conventional. So people have heard of conventional or conforming mortgages. Those are mortgages that are backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So you've probably heard of them in the news. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they're the biggest backers as far as mortgages go. And that would be a minimum 3% down program. But we have the conventional MSHDA as well. So you can actually get conventional with the down payment assistance as well. And then a couple other types are FHA. Everyone's heard of FHA mortgages before. It's backed by the Federal Housing Authority. So it's basically it's a 3.5% down mortgage, but it's better. It's not better. Let me put it this way. It is more used as a plan B sometimes because their FHA charges fees, and it's a little more flexible. So maybe some people have some credit dings or some bankruptcy in the past, things like that. So that would be our plan B, and with the plan A being either the conventional or the MSHDA with conventional. And then a couple other ones, we're a direct VA lender. So for our servicemen and women who have served us so well, the VA offers for our either present or past military people a phenomenal program and just deserved because they've served us. So it's a zero down program, and it's phenomenal. So that's a good one. And then another one, just to kind of finish that off, would be USDA. So USDA also offers a zero down mortgage program. USDA, the same people that you actually have that USDA stamp on your hamburger and your freezer, what it is, it's a zero down loan. And but it has to be the two additional requirements are that it has to be in a rural area, and that doesn't mean that you have to go without indoor plumbing or paved roads. It just means anything normally out of the metro areas of a city. So yeah, those are pretty much a good overview as far as the most popular programs that are available to people.
Now, I personally, I love my investors. So is there anything that you could do for like investors, that type of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. We offer conventional loans for investment properties as well. So there's three different types of residency as far as when you buy a house. So one would be primary residence. That means you live there. Second would be second home, no pun intended, or a vacation home. And then the third would be an investment property. So on the conventional side, meaning Fannie and Freddie back, we offer it's a 15% down program for somebody that wants to buy a house as a rental property, and so as a income generating property or investment property.
Perfect. Thanks. Yeah, I just have to make sure my investors know there's options out there for them, just to make sure they know who knows what they're talking about right here. So I'll send them to you. Hopefully they see this. That's perfect.
Awesome.
Thanks.
I'm gonna do a shameless plug for you. I've worked with you in the past, and there's two different types of realtors, two different types of any profession, of the people that are doing it to serve the clients or the people that are doing it to serve themselves. So you're one of the good ones, and you're great at what you do. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that a lot. All right. So how long would it take? So we had our conversation. We were saying, oh yeah, I'm going to get a mortgage. You send me the email. I get you all the information. How long would that usually typically take to get the info back from you guys saying, oh, this is how much you can do? How long does that usually take?
next day. So I always tell people that it's a next day process. But this is my job, not my client. So obviously, with new home buyers, they already have their own job, right? And so I always make sure we work around their time and their schedule. So like, and for instance, if somebody gets the application completed and all the documents back to us on a Monday, then I'll review it and make sure we have everything to complete the pre-approval, and then complete the pre-approval on a Tuesday. But it all comes down to it's more of a matter of people being able to find time with their busy schedules and with their families and with their job. So as soon as they get that to me, I make sure that I jump right on it and get that over the next day.
Nice. Yeah, like Steve's saying, it's a next day process. Everything to do with real estate is going so quickly right now. So that's with a home. Homes get sold in a week or so. So it's better to talk to them, not push it off, get it as fast as possible, because the home you may be looking at might not be there next week. So Steve's really good with that. He'll call you 9 at night, 10 at night, 3 in the morning, whatever you need to do. Steve's really good at getting it right off the get-go, getting right to it. It's really good. It's really, really good, actually. It's better than a lot of people I've seen, to be honest.
Well, I appreciate that, Kenyon. And so my new home buyers can benefit from the fact that I have no life. So yeah, I definitely can get those mortgages taken care of quickly. And just like you're saying, Kenyon, and I'm of the same mindset. When I'm talking to somebody, a new home buyer on the phone, I'll mention to them that once they're pre-approved, then all the work is done. And so when they find that house, then they're going to be able to pull the trigger on it, as opposed to finding the house that they love and then trying to start the process. Because like you said, with the market so crazy and being so competitive, that listing, or that house for sale isn't going to be there for more than a day or two. So I always tell people it's better to actually get pre-approved and then just have that pre-approval letter in your glove compartment and not use it, as opposed to finding a house that you absolutely fell in love with and then try to start the process. So just to make sure that you can get in there quick, because like you said, it's definitely a competitive market.
Now, if I do get pre-approved, does that hurt my credit score at all? That type of thing? I know
That's a,
that's. Sorry, you go ahead.
it does not. What hurts your credit is having multiple people, companies, credit card companies pull your credit report in a given month. So the credit report cycle, just like the months do. So like the new credit reports come out the first of the month, and then so what happens is anything that you've done in the previous month, like paid down a bill, paid off a car note, is going to reflect in the following month. So oftentimes, and I have my suspicions as far as why people say that it's going to hurt your credit if you have your credit pulled. If you only have it pulled by one company or one mortgage lender in a given month, it is not going to hurt your credit score. What hurts it again, and I'm not sure why this is because I'm not in the industry, but like when you get an auto loan, for instance, I've seen it where somebody bought a new car and then all of a sudden they've got like 6 or 7 different companies that have pulled their credit, and that can start bringing it down. So once you hit the 4th time that somebody pulls your credit in a given month, you're gonna probably see a little decline, and then but it'll go back up in 2 months. So the following month it'll show, or the score is lower, but then the following month it'll go back up. So it's cyclical like that. So, but I suspect sometimes, and I can say this because I'm in the industry, but some maybe less than commendable mortgage lenders will say, okay, I pulled your credit, but don't let anybody else pull it because then that'll screw everything up. It's more of like a kind of a tricky way that I think some people use it to try to keep competition away from the customers. But as long as you're doing it maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times tops, it's not going to hurt your credit.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple times where people are like, I don't know if I want to. They send me a house. I'm like, hey, can I look at this? I'm like, well, have you talked to a lender yet? And they said, no, I don't want to. I'm not for sure yet if I want to buy this house, and they don't want to hurt my credit score. So I'm glad you clarified that, because I know a lot of my people I work with have asked me that before, and I'm like, I was pretty sure it wasn't, but glad you clarified that.
Question.
Is there anything else you want to tell anyone out there for anything to do with mortgages? How's your day been? It's been pretty good, right?
Good. Yeah. I'm very thankful that during this whole COVID thing, I'm still able to work. They consider us essential as far as like from the financial industry, and rates are really low right now. So I'm doing a lot of refinances for my past clients because rates have hit such a mark to where it'll end up saving them a certain amount of money. So whether it's a new home purchase or a second home purchase or a third or a fourth, we've got programs for that on that side of it. And then also speaking of the refinances, so that's when they take out their mortgage and then rates hit a certain point, or maybe they want to take cash out because they built up a certain amount of equity. And equity by definition is the difference between what you owe on your mortgage and what your house is worth. So refinances, it basically is going to be a new mortgage loan, and then it supersedes and replaces the other one, and that one's paid off, and then you have a new mortgage loan. So, but yeah, it's rates are low, and but yeah, it's good. I'm thankful, during this whole thing, that obviously that we're able to work, but it's kind of tough being restricted to my loft. As you can see behind me, there's a shuffleboard table. I've been playing myself, but the other guy cheats, so it's getting old. But no, that's pretty much it. And so, how about you? Obviously, I know you're staying busy, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on this Zoom meeting. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's going good. Like you said, I'm thankful. I'm technically not essential. I can't show houses, but I mean that's for the greater good, safety for everyone. Which I'm still working with a lot of people. We're still trying to find homes, that type of thing. But we'll get through it.
So let me ask you this then. If I could ask you a question. So say if somebody's looking to buy a home, and for some home buyer, let's just say as an example, or for instance, and then you send them over to me, I give them a call, and we work through the pre-approval, we get everything we need, and I issue the pre-approval letter. Are people still able to buy homes right now?
Yep, they are. My office actually had 4 closings last week. We're just doing it a different way right now. It's basically all online closings, and usually what I say to people is you want to look at houses in person first before you decide to buy them. So that's kind of a little tougher right now, just because pictures can be really deceiving. And as if you have any social media, you know that. But yeah, there's virtual tours that's going on now. I know a lot of the people who list the homes or the home owners are sometimes doing like FaceTime calls and walking them through the house. I've seen that before. But you know, we just gotta be creative right now. That's the main thing. Like we are still doing closings. We are still selling houses, but we just, like I said, we gotta be creative with how we do it.
So it's still a good time to buy a house.
Yeah. Right now, yeah, we haven't. I personally, I'm not trying to. I'm sure other people have, but personally, the last few people I've been helping, their houses that they've liked have sold in a matter of weeks. That's why I used that example earlier in the video. I was helping this one of my friends, and he's like, "Hey, can you send me this house? Send me information on that." I'm like, "Dude, that's already pending right now." And he's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was on the market for 4 days," and so
Yep.
the market's still really crazy at the moment, which is just still pretty good.
That's good. That's good. So hopefully if people hear this, then they can reach out to you and because I think there's some confusion as far as like, if people think like if you can buy a house right now, if it's a good time or not. And I'm finding, and you may agree with this, that it's actually a really good time because there's not as many people looking at houses. So
Hmm.
good time to get in. So
Yeah,
definitely
like you
call
said.
Canyon. We can help you.
Yeah, like you said, there's kind of like a misconception right now that everything's closed down, but there's probably not as much competition out there right now. So it might, like you said, it might be actually better to buy a house.
To call Canyon.
Yeah, call Canyon, and then I'll refer you to Steve, and then we can all have a great time. It's all good there. Um, but I want to thank you a lot for being on my Zoom, Steve. It was a really good one.
Thank
Really
you.
informative. I really like it. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you more. So thank you so much. Anytime.
All right, perfect. All right, and that does it from us here at Walker's Realtor Retreat. I hope everyone has a great day.